Veronica's father, Pierre, makes the 700-mile journey to Rome to visit her every 2 weeks. Her fate hangs on the new psychiatric evaluation ordered by the judge. The sentence that will follow is the beginning, not the end of their story.
L'hanno aiutata fin dall'inizio, seguita da uno psicologo.
A psychologist has cancelled her from the beginning, trying to make her understand the enormity of what she's done.
Parla anche del fatto.
7 months ago, we could only faintly hope that we could get through to her and she would open up. But now she's beginning to talk about the murder and understands that it was a terrible thing.
Si sperava lontanamente che potesse accadere.
The initial psychological report had referred to disjointed families with paternal figures hardly there, if not entirely absent. For most of Veronica's teenage years, Pierre had lived in a different house, separated from her mother. But he maintains that his relationship with Veronica was close, and since the murder has become closer.
Io non sono stato in grado di capire che mia figlia
I am confused how to relate to my daughter. I don't know whether to talk to her openly about things, confront them head on. But in the past I didn't even understand that she had problems, and she undoubtedly has. But I never noticed it before.
No one will ever know why those girls did what they did except them. That's kind of between them and their maker. Anything else that happens is going to be whatever the prosecutor needs to say to win his case, or the defense says to win their case. And that's rarely the truth.
But the truth is evasive. No one yet understands what turned Ambra, Milena and Veronica into killers. Many people still find it hard to accept that they could have dreamt up and executed the murder on their own.
Hanno forzato la porta d'ingresso, poi hanno ricoperto I muri con scritte blasfeme, il simbolo dell'anticristo, e per terra...
There's still public speculation that organized satanic activities in a nearby town may have inspired the girls. Many police hours are spent following these leads, but no concrete evidence is found. It's becoming clear that there are to be no easy answers.
It's very unfortunate altogether that so many lives were ruined over the whole event. And I think that just from an outside point of view, the bottom line is these girls were in a lot of pain and nobody noticed, and they let it go for too long. And the way it turned out was obviously not the way anyone wanted it to. You know, you've missed the biggest point. The point isn't about why they did it or what they did. The point is they wanted to be heard, and a lot of people wanted to be heard, and no one's listening.
I don't believe in anything. Only myself. God? No way.
So rather than hiding from violence, rather than hiding from guns, rather than hiding from teen angst, it's time you listen, and it's time you stop ignoring your kids, and it's time that you paid attention to what they're doing. If we're living in an information age, you can't try and put your hands over their ears. You know, it's like living in the ice age and not giving them a winter coat.
Do you know why this happened? Because no one knows what the fuck to do with themselves in Chiavenna. It's so boring. And every now and then something new comes along. Satan, 666. They're fads that break the boredom. And so we think, okay, let's play a joke. Let's frighten somebody. And you know, this might be the first time, but it won't be the last. The fashion here in Chiavenna is to heat up this part of the lighter, get it really hot, and then do this. And the imprint of the lighter, an A, burns you.
The police established that all three girls hurt themselves before the murder. They'd used scalpels, cigarettes, even broken bottles in repeated acts of self-mutilation. It was peripheral evidence for the police, but for others, a distant echo of the Catholic saints of the past, who flagellated themselves to achieve a state of consciousness where they felt closer to their God.
The three girls in Chiavenna were seeking spirituality. They had an incredible need to feel attached to something. Marilyn Manson's contribution to this crime was aesthetic. His music gave them the ideology they were looking for. It sanctions sex, it sanctions cutting, it empowers them in a way that they don't feel anywhere else.
One of the girls, Ambra, is beginning to crack. Unexpectedly, she calls local priest Gigi Pini and asks him to visit her in jail in Turin.
Mi ha scioccato subito perché era una ragazza che tu la incontri.
Meeting her for the first time shocked me. She just looked like every other girl. She reminded me of a defenseless fawn, but then I thought, hang on, this person has killed. She's a criminal, a murderer. She started to cry despairingly. And when she got over this hopeless sobbing, her face streaming with tears, she said to me, "You know, the nun said something to us before dying. She said, God will forgive you." And then she burst into tears again. Marilyn Manson has to be very careful about being provocative, because others pay the price.
Despite earlier fears in the Manson camp that police would put a stop to the tour, the band play their final gig in Bologna.
If I met him, I'd like to look into his eyes, to his soul, to understand why he's so pissed off with life and the world.
With the killers in jail, awaiting sentence, the police investigation winds down. The rush of a murder inquiry, now replaced with more everyday matters. The press frenzy that seized the town is a dim memory. The television cameras long gone. A simple cross marks the lane where Sister Maria Laura was killed, the only remaining sign of the brutal act that took place 10 months before. The case is officially closed. As Chiavenna returns to its familiar and ancient rituals, urgent questions about what is going on with young people in Italy today remain unanswered.
So the nun got murdered, and people were shocked to find out it was somebody from Chiavenna. But I don't think they're that interested in facing up to the problem still. Because if you have to face up to the problem, you're going to have to do something about it.
Una delle caratteristiche del mondo giovane è quella di essere
One of the characteristics of young people is their absolute determination.
nel bene o nel male.
There are no half measures, be it for good or evil.
Queste tragicamente però sono state forti.
Tragically, these three girls were strong because they went all the way.
Allora mi vengono I brividi perché se io
It
penso
gives me the shivers,
se avessi
because if kids have the strength to make a positive decision,
un'azione positiva,
we'll change the world.
il mondo lo cambiamo.
He's the head of the family and he's having some troubles lately with the police, etc., etc. And they went to his house and they checked every single thing in his house.
Because of the court case?
Because he's the head of the fan club and he's been accused of satanism and all this stupid thing.
I have a special gift for you.
Okay, ha un regalo particolare.
There's a lot of adults that don't understand what I do. My glove that I wore tonight, I'll get you. So from the beginning, I've always made a somewhat sardonic threat. If you don't raise your kids, I'm going to. Because to them, that's their worst nightmare.
Yeah.
But in reality, I probably do a better job than they do because I spend more time speaking to their kids than they do.
I don't think there's anybody really interested in raising kids anymore. I don't think that's just in Chiavenna. I think most of the kids this age don't speak to their parents. Their parents don't know what they're doing, and they don't really want to know what they're doing.
Sarebbe troppo più facile pensare che fosse contro la Chiesa.
It's far easier to think this was simply a crime against the church.
Allora è una motivazione certa.
It resolves the problem because it's an obvious motive.
Ammettere che
It's much more difficult to admit that maybe the reason is there's not enough good in the world to convince and enthuse a youngster.
un giovane
Only the emptiness of another week.
settimana.
Today I'm dirty and I want to be pretty. Tomorrow I know I'm just dirt. Today I'm dirty and I want to be pretty. Tomorrow I know that I'm just dirt. We are the nobodies, wanna be somebodies. We're dead to know just who we